I would question, like, why would I get all this fame when that wasn't the point of making music. And I remember thinking, maybe this is the reason, just to show people that, yes, you can go through terrible things, but it depends on how you deal with it and what you do with the cards that you're dealt, and that we have power and a lot of control over our lives in ways that we give up for no reason.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Zook, and here is where we talk about leadership, personal development, and living our very best lives. Here we go. On today's episode, right now, we are going to talk about how to get through the struggle. Yep, that clip that you just heard that opened up the show was singer Gloria Estefan speaking in an interview about her life. I highly recommend that you check that out. It's called Gloria Estefan Singing Through the Struggles, and it is available on YouTube. It's about a half an hour, but what an amazing story. What an amazing life that she has led so far. So if you feel right now that you are going through a really difficult time in your life, then this episode is for you. And if you feel you are not really going through a difficult time in your life right now, then this episode is for you as well. And so how can both be true? Well, it's simple, really, because I want to maybe give you some clarity around why you're going through it, but I also want to prepare you for that no matter where you are in this life, you will face a struggle. And maybe this will help you prepare for it to some degree and make it easier when it does happen. And before we dive in, the first thing I need you to know right now, no matter what you're dealing with, this is a test of your strength and endurance. You're going to get to the other side of this, and I'm going to explain how and why. But again, I just want to remind you, you are being tested because you're worth it. Both my wife and I went through some crazy stuff last year and part of this year. And honestly, it made us feel like we were losing our minds. I mean, sometimes we go through things that make us question so many things and aspects of our life. You know, it could be a friend that betrays you, a promotion at work that never comes, that you never seem to get, a divorce, a custody battle, a financial loss, succumbing to the horrible feelings of loneliness, being laid off at a job, a health crisis. Life is tough. Life is challenging. Life is no joke for anybody. It can be both equally full of joy and equally full of sorrow. And so when we get hit with a crisis, we begin to question so many things like, what am I even here for? Why do I have to deal with so much pain in my life? Why do I feel like I get shortchanged? Why do others seem to have it all so easily? Why can't I get a break? Why can't I get promoted? Why do I feel like I'm going crazy? These are questions that sometimes we all ask ourselves. And I want you to know that no matter at what station you are in this life, we all face them. Trust me, there's a billionaire somewhere out there living on a private island with 1,000 servants catering to their every need, and they're fighting the worst episode of depression they've ever had and are riddled with self-doubt. So that's the first thing I want you to know. Nobody is immune from struggle and hard times. Over time, many philosophers have viewed struggle as central to the human experience, rather than something to be avoided. You know, Friedrich Nietzsche argued that struggle is not an obstacle, but a necessary part of a meaningful life. And that's why I want to talk about that today. He also believed that overcoming hardships allows us to express our will to power, to grow stronger, and to create our own values and purpose. Nietzsche also advocated for amor fati, and that is the love of one's fate. This concept involves embracing every aspect of life, including the struggles, as a meaningful part of one's journey. And this ultimately, the struggle that you're going through will provide a sense of accomplishment. Just the right amount of struggle allows us to earn a sense of accomplishment and meaning. And that builds a healthier sense of self-worth. If everything came easy in this life, we would not cherish our achievements as much. There's that line in the movie Vanilla Sky, you got to have the bitter with the sweet, right? Some days are sunny, some days are rainy. and you get through the rain, the sun comes out, it feels amazing. So this is the ebb and flow of our lives. Of course, there are also psychological and developmental reasons that teach us that struggles are essential for the development and building key coping mechanisms. I think that's one thing that's really important is a lot of people don't know how to soothe themselves going through the struggle. So keep this in mind. Number one, the struggle that you're going through is only building more resilience in you and confidence for the future. Overcoming the adversity helps you bounce back from setbacks and adapt to change. Each challenge you navigate builds competence, which in turn will lead you to greater self-confidence and self-assurance. This is also something to think about that's happening to you is that you are growing personally. Difficult times compel us to reassess our priorities and values, often revealing personal strengths we never knew we had. This process can lead us to significant self-discovery and personal transformation, and that's what we all crave. Also, when we're going through a struggle, it can increase our awareness of the struggles of others around us. The experience helps you better identify with other people's challenges and lead to a deeper sense of compassion and connection. You know, maybe a way to bring that to life a little bit is, as my parents are in their golden years, I have really reconnected stronger and stronger with my father and my mother. And I'm I'm incredibly grateful for the life that they built for me, right? The foundation they gave me, the childhood that I had was like a dream. And what's made it so clear to me now is I've seen so many others go through terrible childhoods, right? Go through poverty, go through abuse. And so my wisdom over the years in connection with others, seeing their struggles has helped me be incredibly grateful for what I have and what my parents ultimately set up for me. So also, when you're going through the struggle, you are promoting a post-traumatic growth. So what that means is there are positive psychological changes that some people experience after a crisis. It can manifest as renewed appreciation for life, a clearer sense of purpose, stronger relationships, and ultimately deeper personal strength. That's the thing I really want you to think about today. You are going to have deeper personal strength on the other side of this. Also, lastly, is that we are sharpening our problem-solving skills. So when we face obstacles, we learn to analyze things better. We reframe challenges and develop new strategies for finding solutions. So how is the brain strengthened by struggle? While intense struggle can have negative effects on it, the brain has a remarkable capacity for neuroplasticity, the ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural pathways. So remember why you're going through this. You are building resilience. You are rewiring your brain for growth, and you are creating thicker, stronger pathways. This makes your thinking faster and more efficient, literally making your brain stronger. So how can you get through the struggle? First thing you want to do is stay calm. If you feel an emotional reaction is getting in the way of problem solving, tend to your emotional response first. Techniques like controlled breathing can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms the fight or flight response from our amygdala. So tend to your emotional response first. Slow down and breathe. Secondly, engage in new experiences. Learning a new skill or visiting a new place can stimulate neuroplasticity and cognitive flexibility. And third, believe it or not, crying is healthy. It's okay to cry. It's okay to release the tears because they help your body get out of fight or flight and release stress hormones like cortisol and replace them with calming hormones like endorphins and oxytocin. So sometimes just let it out with people you trust, or if you have to do it alone, it's okay to cry. I know I've had to do that a few times with stuff that has challenged me, and I immediately felt like a huge release after that. Just think about how powerful you are going to be on the other side of this struggle. And I want to bring this to life for you a little bit better. it needs to be personal in the podcast because anybody can chat GTP their way to answers in life's problems. But what we really need is each other, and we need real relatable experiences to hang on to. And success stories show us it's possible. So I will tell you, from 1998, I landed in Orlando, Florida in 97. 1998 to 2000 were super tough years for me. It was like massive growth. It was a roller coaster, but instead of the roller coaster going back up, it just seemed to go further and further downhill into this abyss. I had a relationship that was never really truly right for me explode. I was sleeping on my buddy's apartment floor. I had to take 2 or 3 buses just to get to work. I didn't have a car. And the apartment that we lived in, I think I've told this before on the podcast, but like I would have to take my shoes in the morning and flip them upside down so the cockroaches would be out of there before I put my feet in my shoes. Yeah. And I will tell you, I never felt more alone in that time. But I had to pick myself up and start over. And I saved every last dollar. I got my own place. I didn't even have any furniture. I barely had any food, but I persevered. I kept working hard. 3 years later, at 33 years old, I met the woman who would become my everything. My wife, my best friend, my soulmate, my coach. Wanda is my world. So what I'm saying is there is something great on the other side of the despair that you're feeling right now. And so here's my best advice during these tough times. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose your boundaries and the high standards you set for yourself. I'll give you an example. Because my relationship didn't work out, I started to steer my interest toward women that were clearly a settle. They were not really what I wanted. They were just somebody comfortable. Don't reach for comfort. It won't work, and it will distract you from something better that is coming your way. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose your boundaries and the high standards you have. Number 2, don't be reckless, because just because things are going bad doesn't mean you have to go bad. Don't pick up drugs and alcohol to run from what hurts you. And let me tell you, I was once the king of reckless. I could be so destructive to my own health and opportunities. None of that helped the situation at all. I didn't get to the other side any better through trying to be reckless and destructive. So just because things are going bad doesn't mean you go bad. Number 3, I want you to keep your head focused on a compelling future. All right. So again, for example, when I was taking the bus every day in the middle of the summer in Orlando, it's incredibly hot. I'm sweating already. I haven't even got to work yet. I would remind myself this is temporary. I would say it over and over. I'm saving for a car. This is temporary. And to keep saying, I would dream and envision myself driving to work while I was on the bus, right? I would think about driving to work, sipping my coffee, listening to my favorite music on the radio in ice cold air conditioning. So remember what you're heading toward. Don't lose that compelling vision. Your pain that you're going through will pass. Remember what you're driving toward. Number 4, you have to walk through the fire. Everyone has to. It's really, really hard, I know, but you have to walk through the burning flames. I remember many years ago, I had this young woman that worked with me, and one day she slipped a note under my door while I was in my office, and it said, "Hey, I need to talk. Can we talk?" And I thought it was like something related to work or business. So we went out into a local coffee shop, and I bought her a coffee, and she told me about a heartbreak that she was going through. She goes, "I don't know who to talk to about this, but I feel like you might have the answers." And so she had liked this boy at another job, and he started to just stop seeing her and date somebody else completely in the same office, same workplace. And so she was totally heartbroken, and I understood. I listened to her and I consoled her. I really felt bad for her. We've all been through it. We've all been there. But she told me how bad it hurt. And I remember telling her that I wished I'd had a magic pill I could give her that would take it all away. But unfortunately, no pill exists. And I said, you have to walk through the fire. It's going to suck really bad. It's going to hurt tremendously, but you've got to walk through it. But when you get to the other side, you will be better off. And I gently reminded her that, hey, that guy wasn't meant for you. He was playing games with your heart and your mind. And we should always protect our heart. It is our most precious gift. Lastly, number 5, maybe this sounds corny, but I'm here to tell you an angel is on the way. Yeah, whether you believe in them or not, it's really, I'm using the word angel, but something or someone is on the way. And I will never give you false hope, but I believe this because I know it's true. There's something extraordinary coming for you. There's a great line in the movie Fools Rush In. It's with Matthew Perry and Salma Hayek. They have this incredible chance meeting. They're both from like totally different worlds. And he falls in love with her and he says, "You're the thing I never knew I always wanted." Sometimes we are almost our own worst enemy, thinking that we want sort of like these built-in attractions in our mind or things that society says are good for us. But until we get out there and start to live and do new things and do new experiences, we'll find out something completely better was there for us. I think I was telling you in a previous episode, 2009 and 2010 were the toughest years while in my career. I mean, they were brutal. I began to feel like I was never going to survive some things I was going through. And my phone stopped ringing. I was struggling to find my place at work. I had been demoted, but then promoted back to a much smaller scale. Advocates that were out there were afraid to stand beside me because they were in fear of their job. The hits just kept coming, and I sank lower and lower. But then Valentine's 2011, it all changed. One phone call changed my entire career. That was that angel on the way. And from that phone call, my career reached heights I never imagined. So what I'm saying is an angel is on the way. Don't give up. Something amazing and extraordinary is coming for you. Trust me. It has happened to me over and over. Maybe I'm lucky, but when you're doing the right things in your life, you're living your best life, you're focused and disciplined on becoming the best person you can be, then this angel is coming for you. I want to share a poem I wrote for my brother-in-law. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Camino de Santiago, but it is a pathway from France into Spain. It's famous around the world. People go there and walk this path. And so I want you to keep this in mind, that the hard work that you're going to be doing, going through the struggle, will get you to where you need to be. Like I said, you will get to the other side. But here's the poem I wrote him while he walked on the Camino de Santiago. Every man must walk this path alone. From the day we were born, the seeds were sown. Every man must take his time to truly feel, reach inside himself so he begins to heal. The path he chooses may be arduous and long, but he will find the strength to again sing his song. He'll rise from the ruins that he once defined. He'll break the shell that held him confined. He shall seek the truth and the reasons for being, to align with the bright sky ahead he is now seeing. All the intersections of people, places, and time, this will strengthen his will to stay on the climb. No status, no degrees, no gold, no wealth. As darkness falls, he knows to depend on himself. Place those stones of significance where they belong and leave them behind in time so you can carry on strong. Take my words as I walk alongside you, my brother. We are united along with your sister's father and mother. No matter what we are given and what we are shown, to get there, every man must walk this path alone. So I'm not saying that you are alone. I am only saying that when you're doing the heavy lifting to change your life, to change your mentality, to change your outlook, you have to rely on yourself. There are no external forces that are going to build the happiness for you. Remember that quote from David Lee Roth, the singer of Van Halen. Money does not equal happiness, but it does enable you to buy a very big yacht and sail up close to it. And I know that the quote is humorous, but really if you think about what he's saying, that no matter how much money you make, you will never be completely happy. And a lot of people will cover their internal struggles with that, facade of wealth or take drugs and alcohol or whatever they can do to bury it. They won't do the work. And that's really what I'm saying with this poem, is that you have to do the heavy lifting. You've got to become self-reliant, where you say, I got me, and I'm going to get to the other side of this. Remember, this is only a test of your endurance. It's preparation for bigger things on the other side. So in the notes for this show, I'm going to include a worksheet for you with some reminders on how you can work through whatever struggle you're going through right now. So again, just go into the show notes and there'll be a link to click. So last thing I want to remind you is that you are not alone, that you are with hundreds of thousands of other people that are going through struggles in this life. So reach out. There are a ton of support groups for just about anything that people are dealing with out there. And remember that having that social outreach and connection with others is the key in helping overcome things that you're going through. You know, I went through a challenge just recently, and it wasn't even that big of a deal, but yet I found myself in the middle of an ocean with no answers, no boats to get me back home. And my wife was the boat that came along and got me out of being stranded at sea. And all it really was just talking through the challenge, staying connected. And I'm not ashamed to say it, I had cried it out. Sometimes everybody just needs to do that. Cry it out. Be with someone you can talk to help them work through it. And like I said, the crying thing is good because there's a psychology behind that that's proven. There are a ton of people out there you can connect with, and they will be a lighthouse for you so you can get out of that sea you feel stranded in and back home where you belong. All right, so that's my episode. I'm going to leave you as I leave you every episode, and that is to lead your life boldly, and most importantly, be awesome you. Thank you for listening. Please leave a rating and review and hit that subscribe button for more episodes if you liked what you were hearing. Please share this episode with friends, families, coworkers, neighbors, anyone you feel could benefit from it. I love you. Be safe. And until the next episode, bye.